that, some people would say you're the wrong one. I mean, you're the outlier. You're the one who's getting it wrong. And in fact, some people might argue that your point of view is dangerous, that you're imperiling people's souls. And I've just wondered how you have reconciled yourself to this, over the years. What convinces you and affirms you in your view that your path here is the path that really others should be taking? Humbly, I would say.
Well, it's been anything but easy, including internally. It's been a very difficult journey for me, but it started by facing myself, and that was a terrifying thing to do, to listen to my own words and to watch their effect on other people, on the other person, instead of constantly listening so that I would feel better about myself. I started listening to hear the effect of my words on others. That was part of that process of change. But I'm not alone. There's a book out now called The Spiritual Danger of Donald Trump, in which 30 top level, some of the best evangelical hearts and minds in the United States, writing essays, warning of why the Trump culture, not necessarily Donald Trump as an individual human being, but the political and social culture that Donald Trump represents and fosters is so dangerous, particularly to Christians. And I go back to, again, what is our message? What are we trying to proclaim and live out? And if I look at the model of Jesus, and if evangelicalism is anything, it's Jesus-centered. We call it, in theological speak, being Christocentric. Jesus Christ being at the center of everything we say, do, believe, proclaim, practice, all of it. The centrality is Jesus Christ. He becomes the model. Too many Christians segregate the world. We are segregationists into the saved and the lost. Those who know God, those who don't. Those who are sinners, those who are saved and sanctified. Well, that's not the way Jesus treated people. He treated every human being with precisely the same love, respect, and dignity. And that's the heart of the gospel. So for me, this is all about returning to my original faith, not renouncing my faith.
What's the way forward here? I mean, we're in a moment in which there is just a lot of anger and tension in the streets. It's a big sea change. I mean, the fact that you've got some sort of figures who had previously been extremely dismissive of some of the social movements like Black Lives Matter and so forth, have been very dismissive or critical of them. You're now seeing them say, you know what, I'm thinking about this and I'm seeing something here and I think you were right and I was wrong. That's kind of new. So what's the way forward here in your view?
Well, in fact, we just had a number of evangelical leaders in the, white evangelical leaders in the Washington, D.C. area march with the Black Lives Matters folks in the streets. It was beautiful to see. And then I just participated in a wonderful, prayerful, Bible-centered celebration at St. John's Church, where President Trump had that photo up and held up the Bible. Only this time, the Bible was actually opened, read, preached, and there were the prayers of thousands of people, and it was people of many faiths came. What is the way forward? I think first for white evangelicals, especially those of a certain age like me, to maybe preach less, speak fewer words, listen more deeply and much longer, and put ourselves as much as possible. We can never do it perfectly, but as much as we can, put ourselves into the experience of another person, sit there prayerfully, reflectively for a while, maybe for a long while, and feel what they feel. We see Jesus do that on a number of occasions, even to the point where when one of his friends died, he stood at the entryway to the tomb and wept. It's one of the most profound but shortest verses in the entire Bible. Jesus wept. That's all it said. Maybe this is a time for us to stop talking like I'm doing now and instead weep with those, as the scripture commands us to do. Weep with those who weep.